We are learning.
Everyone's awake.
We're learning Mishnayos Nedarim, Perek Yud, chapter 10, Mishnah Hey, Mishnah 5. All right. Now, here's the following case. Boigeres sheshoasa shnemasar chaydish. You have this girl. She's a boigeres. That means she's already past 12 and a half, which means that she is out of her father's domain. The father has no more control over her Nedarim, and she's an arusa. She's betrothed. Now, the rule is like this. After they are betrothed, once either the groom or bride asks the other to begin preparing for the nisuin, for the chuppah, each has up to 12 months to prepare. Okay? So she is a basula, she was never married before, and she gets 12 months to get ready. And the clock starts ticking when, basically, the chassan says, it's time to start getting ready. Right? He asks her to start getting ready. And she does the same thing to him. Okay? Now, if the bride is a widow, then it's a 30-day period. When the chassan asks her to get ready and she asks him to get ready, it's a 30-day period. The difference between a woman who was never married before and one who was already married, they explain because she presumably still has things she prepared for her previous wedding. I'm not sure exactly what these things are, but we're assuming that whatever the preparations for a woman who was never married, a girl who was never married before, takes 12 months, when she remarries, she would not need to have to do that as much preparation. Now, if the groom delays the nisuin, meaning if the husband who did the erisin, he delays the nisuin past the allotted time, it's his delay, he becomes responsible to provide his wife with food as though they were already fully married. And I believe that means even though she's living by her father. She's living by her father still, right? Before chuppah, she's still home. Nonetheless, if the time comes for the chuppah, and it's the chassan, it's the groom, it's the man who did the betrothal who is delaying, he has to support it, he has to provide it with food. So here we have such a case. Boigeres sheshoasa shnemasar chaydish. The boigeres who already waited for 12 months for her chuppah. Amana shleishim yoim, or amana 30 days. So at this point, as we've said, the husband has to feed her. Rabbi Eliezer says, Hayel ubayla chayim zenoiseha, being that her husband, meaning the man who betrothed her, the one man who did erisin on her, is obligated to support her, yafer, he now has full rights to cancel her nedarim. Even though he is technically only an aris, you're not a full husband, and until now we've been saying that if you're not a full husband, if you're not a husband after chuppah, you do not have the ability to cancel the neder, because an aris only has the ability to cancel a neder together with a father, and at this point, that she's a boigeres and the father has no control, doesn't have the ability anymore to cancel her neder, he can't do it on his own. That's typical. But once we get to the point of where this aris is obligated to feed her, to support her, at that point of time, he now gets the full rights to be able to cancel her neder. Let me just finish the Mishnah, we'll explain. The Chachamim say, Ein abal mefer, a husband cannot cancel. And as we said before, this aris, this person who made erisin, he is called a husband because technically he is a husband. She can't marry somebody else. If they were to break up, if they would decide not to go to chuppah, they have to give her a get. But they're not completely married until they go to the chuppah. So the Chachamim say, Ein abal mefer, the husband cannot cancel his wife's nedarim, ashetikanis lareshusai, until she actually enters his domain. Until it means after chuppah. Even if he's already supporting her, nonetheless, until she actually goes to chuppah and becomes his full-fledged wife, they can actually live together, then we say he can cancel her nedarim. Before that, he cannot. Now, what's the explanation to this? So here they have the notes the following. The Torah gave a husband control over his wife's nedarim because a wife who makes a neder has in mind that it should be canceled if her husband disapproves of it. We assume that this is her intent, and we're understanding that as the understanding behind the mechanism, so to speak, behind the fact that the Torah allows a husband to cancel the vow. The Torah gives a husband the power to cancel a vow because deep down or in her mind, in the back of her mind, this is something that, again, she only wants to make her neder if the husband approves of it. Now, at the end of the day, if the Torah wouldn't have given him the power, he wouldn't have had that power. But the Torah gives him the power based on that, based on the fact that she has in mind that it should be canceled if her husband disapproves of it. According to Rabbi Eliezer, the main reason she has this in mind is that her husband provides her her food. Although she would not want to do anything that meets with his disapproval, right? If she's getting fed by him, she doesn't want to do something that he's going to disapprove of. Therefore, if her Oris provides her with food, as in our case, he has control over her Nedarim. If the whole idea behind the Torah's law of being able to cancel it, the husband can cancel the neder, is because she doesn't want the disapproval of the man who is feeding her, then once the Oris is feeding her, then he gets the power of canceling, because the whole power of canceling the Torah gives is based on this idea that she has in mind that she doesn't want her to meet her husband's disapproval, and husband in this context means the man who is feeding her. Therefore, according to Belezer, he says that this Aris, who is now obligated to feed her, can cancel her vow. The sages hold that a woman makes her Nedarim dependent on her husband after they are fully married, and not before, regardless of who provides her with food. According to the Chachamim, yes, it's true. The idea behind the Torah's power to cancel is because she does not want to meet his disapproval. But that intent in her mind is when they are fully married, after chuppah, when they can be living together. It's not about just who's feeding her. And therefore, if he feeds her before chuppah, according to the Chachamim, he would not be able to cancel her neder, and that is halacha like the Chachamim. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, Rabbi. Oh.